Hey guys, this is Chris David. Sorry I couldn't be there for the team meeting, but here is a small presentation of what I've been working on here. I'm scheduled to go over the standard JavaScript events, which includes quite a bit. And in our schedule here, it really just touches on just barely a couple of them in there. So overall, I don't really have slides I wanted to go over. I created a bunch of code I want to illustrate. And I also want to discuss some of these events just right here through W3 Schools. So some of the common events that you'll see for the JavaScript interactions, JavaScript events, it's going to be onChange, onClick, onmouseover, onmouseout, keyboard key down, and then onload. There's a whole nother list here that includes all the DOM events, and it just goes on. You got all the mouse events, keyboard events, frame object events, form, drag, clipboard, print, media. So really, as I'm going through this, there's just so many different things that you can create on a site. A lot of it could be done easier through CSS, but the point is you can do it through JavaScript. And the ones that I specifically chose today, if we flip over to my code for a moment, pull it up and zoom in, I've got mouse over, mouse out, mouse down, mouse up, onload. We'll go over that today. And then the last one is onclick. We've gone over some of the stuff before. And as a matter of fact, last week we went over some of my transitions and animations. Well, with this animation, if I restart, you'll see it go through. And great, so what? Well, after that's done, I want to be able to give the user more interaction, give the user more power to manipulate what is happening on the screen. And so I'll show you, first off, my buttons here. If you take the mouse and go over it, there's interaction that occurs here. You saw the font get bigger, the background color changed. If I go off of it, background color goes back to the button face. But I purposely made it so the font does not shrink down again, just for the purpose of illustrating how some of these JavaScript events occur, and then how you can interact and counteract with it to make it go back to the original state. So in this case, I have on mouse over the button, over the input, the background color changes, and so does the font size. And when I go on mouse out, so off of the input, the background color goes back to the default button face. And in my code, it is right here. So going back up here, you can see I have my input. Make it easier to read there. A mouse over. We're going to do mouse over function, this object. And so to break that down in my actual script, I got function, mouse over, object. I pass that object, which is the input, through, and then manipulate the background color for that, the style, which is there. And then I got the font size that I also manipulated that I talked about before. But wait, on the function off, I have just the style background going back to the button face, not the font size. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and grab this. I don't know what size the original font is, so let me check that real quick. Hopefully I didn't miss it there. Yeah, I do not know what the original is. So let me test this. So it's about 14, I would say. I grab that, and I'm going to drop the font size right in there again. So for my function off1, which is the located here on the first input, that's the one I changed again. I'm going to save it, upload the files again, restart. Okay, if I hover over, it changes and goes back. So that is strictly just JavaScript on the onmouseover and down, or out, excuse me. Now, if I go over to the button and I click down, the background color changes once again. And the reason for that is because of the onmousedown JavaScript function, and then the onmouseup. And I did the same principle. So on mouse down, I changed the background color to yellow, and then on mouse up, I have the button face default color and styles come back. So I can, don't double click it, I can click on it and let go, and it goes back to normal. Now, the second thing that I end up doing was onclick events. So if we go back to our inputs again, we've got the onClick is calling this function, triangle shape. So when I click on triangle shape, it's going to reset my object back to the square, travel downwards, and become a triangle. So we're creating that triangle. Now if we hit make a Pac-Man, it's going to do the same thing. I got a Pac-Man at the end there, and then reset. I wanted to go back to the original animation that occurs. Now those are made possible through the functions being called. So my original onload, if I refresh that window again, I have the original animation. It's this block of code from 27 to line 43. And we went over that a little bit. And I'm not going to go into that because it's more animation than what we're covering this week. But when I click on the triangle, it then runs this function through and runs the animation once more, because I went ahead and pasted it back in with some alterations to the actual size or the shape. And then, of course, the same thing for the Pac-Man, which is down here. Pretty straightforward. And those are the ones that I decided to go over today. And I hope there's not too many questions there. If you do, I apologize I won't be there tomorrow because I have a career fair I have to be to all day tomorrow. But I do appreciate you sending out some messages, especially in our texts that we have going on. Be more than happy to answer any of your questions. And as always, ask the other classmates as well in the meeting, and hopefully they can help you out with that. So there's the details. And I hope you guys have a good week. Okay, take care for now.